Hi, this is Misha. And at first you may be wondering why these guns are all on the table together. They are from very different time periods and very different places and are very different styles. Well, this video is primarily on the one on the end here, the Brügger Thomet. This is the TP9, which is the civilian legal version. But the reason we have all of these out, just to kind of compare, is this uses a rotating barrel system. And this system has been used on and off for a very long time. One of the first, if not the very first, to go into mass production with it was this here. This is a Savage 1907 and 32 ACP. Today we don't really think of 32 as deserving of a locked breech or even delayed blowback system, but back in the early 20th century they were still experimenting. Oops, sorry, it's really oily, guys. There we go. Sorry about that. And I've got a cut on my hand. This is actually striker fired, believe it or not, even though it looks like it's a hammer. This is a military gun. This one's actually French contract. They used a number of these. 10-round mag. We have videos, of course, on this. This is really the first to introduce the rotating barrel system. And when this was introduced, they really, Browning had not come out with his famous tilting or tipping barrel system. At least it wasn't widely known. There were some, early versions, of course. But then again, this dates back quite a ways too. It was just a different way to do things. The agitation of the projectile firing through the barrel kept the barrel from rotating, which delayed the slide coming back. And as you see, it has a very stiff spring on it too. It was just one of those ways. The benefits were that it is lighter weight and a little bit slimmer up top. And it also was kind of able to handle a wide range of ammunition types, because really it was just the bullet itself. The stronger it fired out, the stronger the recoil, the more it kept it closed. The weaker it was, the sooner it would open. So it was pretty flexible on the ammunition front. But that kind of ended. Next we have the French MAB PA-15, or P-15 as it was later known. This was designed by MAB in the 1960s, also using the rotating barrel principle. This is chambered for 9x19 parabellum. It too is a double stack, 15 rounds. And for its day and time, it was pretty advanced, at least in some ways. Mostly the high capacity mag. And MAB's primary reason, they were trying to get it to be adopted and replace the older Mac 50 in French service, but their idea was flexibility and ammunition. So even like poor quality, because remember they've been fighting in Vietnam and Algeria and so on and so forth, poor quality or corroded ammo could be used as well as match grade. And also they found this to be a very accurate pistol, because the barrel never tips out of alignment. Yes, it rotates, but it's still in the same exact plane as is your slide. So it led to greater accuracy. The trade-off was this has a very stiff recoil spring and a very thick slide. Now the frame is thick because of the high cap mag. At the time they were still getting used to that. This too was never officially adopted, although they did make them in quite large numbers and sell them for about 15 years. Next up we have the Beretta PX4. This is a much more modern gun. It's been out about 15 years. This one is also chambered for 9x19. It's also available in 40. It uses the same rotating barrel. They've managed to lighten up the spring quite a bit by a few tricks. And again, the idea is it can fire a wide range of ammo from, below 115, 115 grain, all the way up to heavy subsonics and everything else. And it has just typical modern Beretta features. And again, the high cap mag. So, I just thought we would kind of do that to get us into this critter here. The Brügger Thomet TP9. This isn't a traditional pistol. It actually began as a machine pistol, but it was kind of always intended as either a PDW or even a sidearm. Now I've got a folding brace on it. The hinge is just your typical one from a US machine gun. Pretty standard. And it's bolted on using an adapter from Atlantic that they made in-house a couple of years ago. I don't think they still make them. But with this adapter you can put anything you want on, and it does come with a standard fixed adapter for an AR tube. The TP9 is the civilian legal semi-auto version of the MP9. So let's get into a little history because it's me. This all actually began in Austria with Steyr in 1989, when development began on a new machine pistol defense weapon. Around the same time FN was working on the P90, and not long before HK started on the MP7. So it was kind of the wave of the future. Right at the end of the Cold War, body armor was becoming very prevalent, and they were trying to think of small, lightweight guns to help combat it. In 1992, Steyr would introduce the TMP, Tactical Machine Pistol. This was a true machine pistol. It had a foregrip and the regular pistol grip, but no stock. It had fixed iron sights. Actually, they were plastic, polymer, but hey. No pick rail, because this was 92. Had a 5.1-inch barrel, and it used the rotating system that you saw on the other ones. Hang on, guys. There we go. It's got a last round hold open. It does have a release. You see the charging handles in the back. It's a very ambidextrous gun. So how did the TMP lead to the MP9 and the TP9? Well, after the TMP, Steyr introduced a civilian legal version, semi-auto only, whereas the original was select fire. Had a cyclic rate of about 850 rounds per minute. Standard chambering was 9x19 NATO. The SPP, special purpose pistol, was the same, but in semi, it lacked the vertical foregrip. Didn't have a rail out here at the time either. Had a slightly longer barrel and barrel shroud, just to make sure people wouldn't shoot their fingers off, I guess. And both guns were primarily polymer. Remember, Steyr had been working with the AUG and other advanced polymer guns, and Austria had adopted the Glock. And the polymer gave several advantages. It allowed it to be lightweight, easy to manufacture, durable, rust resistant, of course, customizable, more ergonomic, just all around a better gun. But the TMP and the SPP were not very successful. The gun had a few design flaws. Again, it didn't have a shoulder stock, it didn't have rails. It had a very heavy trigger, at least 10, maybe 12 pounds. Yeah, it just didn't take off. It was only used a little bit by special police and a few tiny special forces units in Austria and a few in Italy, but that was really it. So Steyr decided to discontinue the series in 2000. They sold off some old stock, and then in 2001, Brügger Thomet in Switzerland purchased the design, and they immediately set to work turning what had potential into something that was actually very effective. And that is where this gun comes from here. TP9 with folding brace.
Your lens cover was on.
Oh, and now with the compact mag. Held open.
It's really amazing how little that thing moves when you shoot it.
Yeah, that recoil system, well, we will have to do that test against the Vector one day.
Yeah.
See which one's more effective. In 2004, just a couple of years later after purchasing the design, Brügger and Thomet first debuted the MP9, Machine Pistol 9, Mashgun Pistol 9. They really took the TMP and gave it a complete overhaul and modernization. It's reported that 19 engineering changes were done, and I believe it. There's a lot of differences. We'll just start at the muzzle. Brügger and Thomet makes suppressors, so one thing they did is they better adapted it to take a suppressor. They have a 25mm tube. It is a 3-lug QD style to take a Brügger and Thomet suppressor. They do offer a version that's threaded instead of with a 3-lug, but it would still of course be the larger diameter because of what we have here. They added a Picatinny top rail for optics. Soon the Aimpoint Micro TL would become the standard, recommended, and even sold with it optic for the MP9. They would alter the iron sights though, even though they were backup sights. They would make them adjustable as opposed to fixed. The rear is a ghost ring. The front is a simple post. They would add a short side rail. And on the military gun, you wouldn't have another rail here, you would have a vertical foregrip. Originally, they would be fixed on to the gun. They could be removed for maintenance, but they were fixed on. Later, they would offer it as a detachable. I do actually have a Brügger and Thomet foregrip. It's not specifically for that because this is for a pick rail. I have it for a different gun, but I'll show you. This is very similar to the original. It's a stubby grip. It's kind of neat. It has a little spring-loaded catch and it locks on. Has a little storage in the base. Very high quality grip. Fits on sub guns quite well. So you would have a foregrip, and that's kind of carried over from the TMP. But what isn't carried over would be the buttstock. They integrated a hinge mechanism in the back with a push button. And that was for a lightweight stock that would fold over and even lock into the side here. And I do have a stock. It came with the gun. It's not on it. You see, it's very lightweight. Made of polymer. Very simple, huh? Honestly, it looks like, honestly, most arm braces have more support, so I wouldn't even want to put this on. Like I said, it came to me with the gun. It's perfectly legal to have this as long as it's not on the gun because it takes a tool to install it. And the brace is honestly more comfortable anyway because it's much larger footprint. So that's one change that they made. They also changed the trigger system to lighten it up. It's still a relatively heavy pull for safety, but we're now at about 7 pounds, maybe 8. We have multiple safeties. We have a Glock style safety here on the trigger. We have a cross bolt manual safety. We also have an internal drop safety. We have a Browning style mag release for your thumb here. These feed from Steyr style mags. They are waffle, as you see. Double stack, double feed. This is the shortest one, 15 rounds for kind of compact use. The next common mag is here. It is a 30. It's more for using it as a machine gun. They also do offer 20 and 25s, although I've never seen a 25. And they do offer it in black as well as translucent smoke. The grip is quite ergonomic, especially by the standards of the early 2000s. It's very curvy, much slimmer than, say, an Uzi grip. The charging handle is in the back, kind of AR style. Of course, that would make it ambidextrous. This gun weighs about 3.5 to 3 3/4 pounds with the magazine and a sight like the Aimpoint Micro or similar. So it's quite lightweight, and that would be with the stock and foregrip. Obviously without it's a little bit lighter still yet. It still has the 5.1 inch barrel in both the MP9 and the TP9. So reasonably long barrel. Lightweight, quite small. It's under 12 inches with the stock folded. It's about 11.5 total. So it could be used as a large pistol or a small PDW. And it's good to 50, maybe even 100 meters. The cyclic rate is a tiny bit higher. It's about 900, 950 on the standard MP9. There is an updated version called the MP9N that has a higher cyclic rate at about 1100. It also uses a new style of safety selector. Instead of the cross bolt, it has an HK style rotating selector. Kind of interesting. There are other versions. There's actually a version of the straight pistol, no stock, called the TMP SF, which is select fire. So it's kind of interesting. So they've made a few different versions. Let's take this critter apart, because one reason I wanted one of these for ages was the mechanics. I love mechanically interesting things. The semi-auto TP9 started to be imported from Switzerland. Take down there. Get another button in the back here. There it goes. By Arms, DSA. Oh, a number of years ago. I know I saw them in stores by 2006, 2007. So a couple of years after B&T put these into production. Sorry guys, I'm fiddling with this a bit, but I'll get her. I'm at a weird angle here to take this apart. It's not as complicated, it just has a couple of catches. So Arms was the original importer for the TP9. They pretty much just brought in one version, although they did offer a few different colors. Here's our lower. It's a hammer-fired lower. Not a whole lot to it. Now one change, like I said, obviously there's not a foregrip on the semi-auto US version, so we have another pick rail under the front. I just have a kind of nice soft rubber there. Another difference, this is actually a machine gun upper. It came with the gun. I had both uppers. It came. The pistol upper doesn't have the pick rail on the side, and instead of having a ghost ring, it has a notch sight because it was meant to be used as a quote-unquote pistol, and they feel that notch sights are better as pistols. But when you have a stock or a brace, a ghost ring is better, at least so I'm told. So most of our operating mechanism is all up here. We'll look in here first. Here's our spring. You can remove it if you need to. Typical spring with rod. And of course our handle can come out the back, very AR stylish. It does lock in. It's non-reciprocating, of course. Otherwise it would be hitting you in the nose. Not terribly pleasant. And here's our rotating barrel mechanism. Quite neat. Here's the bolt itself. As you see, it's telescoping about half its length. Sorry, we just got through shooting guns, so it's dirty. The machining is very nice. Spring-loaded firing pin. Here's our barrel and its sleeve, if I can remember how this even comes out. That's something I do on a daily basis. There's a button. Yeah, there it is. It's very interesting mechanically, as I said. It's intricate. But once you get it, this is again what really made me kind of like it. You guys believe me, right? Yeah, well. But yeah, that comes out. I just don't remember exactly how I ride it this minute, and I don't really feel like futzing with it. But this is our jacket in the front that has our collar for the suppressor, and here's our barrel in the back. You can see it rotating. And that is the action. You see the lugs there. So it is a delayed blowback. they did this, again, to help with, kind of really for all the reasons of the previous guns we looked at. It gives it a wide range of ammo types, which is good for a gun meant to run with a suppressor or unsuppressed, so it makes it really easy to use. Also, it let the gun be lightweight. We could do mostly polymer, with just this being the metal, basically. Lighter weight there, saving on metal. And believe it or not, it actually works very well at checking recoil in this gun. A lot of the recoil impulses add up by this barrel because it's a very heavy barrel and bolt. So by the time it recoils back, it's a very smooth, very nice recoil impulse. So they were kind of doing away with an all-polymer gun before Chris Vector, long before, with an old system kind of revitalized with new technologies. And what's nice about this over the Vector, it's much lighter weight. One thing about the Vector gun, the Chris Vector, it's quite heavy, honestly. Alrighty, got her back together. It's a very nice, smooth action. You know, this charging handle you'd think would break, but they seem to be pretty durable. I think they're a very flexible polymer, and extra spare ones are pretty inexpensive, 15-20 bucks, so not a bad part to have if you own one of these. And I did. I first discovered these many years ago, and because a local shop was carrying them new from DS Arms. I just thought it was neat, and it feels good. And you know, 10 years ago plus, we didn't have near the pistol caliber pistols or pistol caliber carbines, and that was long before the brace. And that was the major detraction. There wasn't really a way, except putting the stock on it, so SBRing it, to make it comfortable. As a straight pistol, no foregrip, no stock, it's better than the SPP by far. I mean, it's a much better trigger, but it still doesn't have that extra point of contact that makes it controllable. But with the brace, it's a very fun gun. This is actually my second TP9. I bought my first one about 2010 and then sold it a few years later. I picked this one up about 2015 and probably will hang on to it because now they've gone crazy. For a long time you could pick them up for 900-ish, 850 maybe new. And while used ones didn't seem to be a whole lot cheaper, usually if you bought a used one it was 800, 850, but it came with a bunch of extras, and with the price of Swiss parts that made it worth it. Like this one came with the 2 top covers, it came with the stock, it came with the spare charging handle, it came with a brass catcher, it came with multiple 30 and 15 round mags, so it was a pretty good package deal for what I paid. But now from Brügger Thomet, B&T USA, these are well over $1,500, so we'll be getting another one if I ever sell it. They're neat guns for what they are, but I don't know about that. They're still a polymer gun. They are highly reliable. They seem to eat any kind of ammo you toss in them. And unlike the TMP, these have seen much more military adoption. I'm not going to say they're widespread, but for example, in Portugal, this is a standard issue sidearm for the Army. It's also used quite a bit in India, including a bit by the Army and quite a bit by different police. Also used in Thailand and Bulgaria, a few other places here and there. Most importantly though, in 2015, the Swiss Army adopted the MP9N, remember the newer version I told you about, as the MP14, because technically it was 2014, at least when it was selected, although they didn't really officially announce it till 15. And this was for rear echelon, second line troops, or people that have other duties that don't need to have the big STG-W90, the SG-550 rifle with them. Its size and lightweight, but also the fact that it had a foregrip and stock and fired a common cartridge and had a relatively large capacity, meant that it was great as a personal defense weapon or submachine gun for close quarters type combat. So it's basically used by secondary troops and also by like special forces and such in Switzerland. So yeah, it's in Swiss military service now. Also Swiss police have purchased these in not insignificant numbers. So it's a much more successful design. A lot of times you do see it with the aim point, and the majority of the time, at least when these are sold to military and police users, it does come with the Brügger and Thomet sound suppressor. It's pretty standard equipment. Again, it's QD, so it makes it quite handy. They make several holsters for these. There's quite a wide range of accessories, and again, they offer them in multiple colors: black, white, desert tan, OD green, I believe, so on and so forth. And now that the brace adapters are around, it's an option. I've also seen people take the stock and cut the back part off and then bolt a tail hook to this. And that seems to be also acceptable. Basically using the hinge and all that from the stock and using the tail hook as your quote-unquote arm brace. So that's another option. Either way, where there's a will, there's a way. And we just wanted to take this out and shoot it because it is much more fun. We had no jams, no failures. All mags worked. It was a great, fun gun. Well, if you have a TP9 or other Brügger and Thomet product like the APC or KH, we'd love to hear about it in the comments. If you have any questions, we'll do our best to answer them. If you liked the video, we'd appreciate it if you could click like, and also if you could check out our Patreon page. We are happy to accept anything. $1 a month is great, and we try to offer what we can to our Patreons and go from there. This is Misha, and please tune in again next time. It's this hinge, it kind of sticks, for more, hopefully, interesting videos. We'll catch you then.